Hi, I'm Chris Lethan, and this is The Economy and You. This is our second show, and the last show we talked about the anatomy of a skateboard entrepreneur, and today we're going to be talking about accelerator programs, and specifically we're going to be talking about Energy Accelerator. It's an accelerator program that's been around for several years now. They've done some amazing work. They've helped several new companies get launched, and working in the area of energy, managing energy distribution, energy storage. They've been working with companies that have been figuring out new ways to help us save and use less energy. So I'd like to welcome my guest today. My guest is Lauren Tonokawa. Lauren, hello.
Hi.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
If you're as nervous as I am, don't worry about it, because
Okay.
we'll be fine. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about about your Energy Accelerator program, what you're doing. Kind of tell us a little bit about how you all got started, how you got involved in it, and then what the organization's been doing.
Sure. So I started at the Energy Accelerator about 2 years ago, and that's about how old our program is. We were transitioning out of a typical grant funding model into this new accelerator program. And we accepted our first cohort at the beginning of 2012. So we are now into our third cohort. The first one was a beta, so we're now.
So is a cohort, how long does a cohort last when you put together a cohort? Is that like a 6-month program or a 1-year program? How long does that last?
So for the earlier stage guys, it's about 6 to 8 months, and for the later stage ones, we do 12 to 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have 2 tracks to our program.
Okay, so this is a lot of hand-holding that goes on when you're involved with a new organization. What kind of things do you do for them?
Yeah, so we work pretty closely with the startups we accept, and we have 3 main pieces of value for them, and that's the funding, the relationships, the people that we connect them with, and then the ecosystem that we build around them. So whether it's them testing their technologies here, or them interviewing customers in a market, or connecting with investors.
So is Hawaii seen as an ideal location for working on new energy issues?
Yeah, definitely. That's due to like the great climate that we have, the year-round sunshine, as well as the high energy prices.
Yeah, well, energy, of course, isn't very expensive here. I know my air conditioner bill only runs maybe $300 or $400 a month.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's it. So, you know, yeah, and I think one of the things, too, for Hawaii is that what makes us a great place to experiment with new energy technologies is that the proximity of everything to everything else. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're going to do an electrical vehicle, or you're going to do a vehicle, for example, that runs on what do they call that? Different types of energy sources. I know that in Europe they've got a car that actually runs on air. Yeah.
Cool.
So if we have different types of hydrogen, for example, hydrogen fuel. That's what I was thinking of. Hydrogen vehicles. Of course, you need to have places where the car can refuel. Mm-hmm. So in a place like Hawaii, where everything is in close proximity, it's easy to establish stations to test out these different models, I suppose. Mm-hmm. What is the sort of the value statement behind your organization? What is their mission statement? What are they, why do they exist?
So our organization exists to help startups solve the world's energy challenges, starting here in Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah, because we see Hawaii as a really great place, or a really great early market for them to launch into other markets. Okay, now either in the Asia Pacific or mainland. Yeah.
So now, are you actually seeing the companies that you worked with launch into new areas now?
Yeah, actually, one of our companies who was with us last year, and they're doing their demonstration project, they actually launched a second version of their technology. So this is IBIS Networks, and they have a smart socket as well as software to be able to analyze and control.
IBIS Networks?
IBIS Networks, yeah.
And they use sockets, and this is for the home? Or for the business?
This is for commercial buildings, either hotels or schools, government buildings. And so they're actually a local company who spun out of Oceanit and the R&D firm. And now they've been able to do deployments here in Hawaii and also in California.
Okay, very good. Very good. Very awesome. Yeah. Okay. So I guess then what kind of solutions are currently being utilized as energy solutions that have come out of your organization?
So out of our organization, we work with a few different companies in different categories, from energy storage to efficiency to financing, and we work with both Hawaii-based and mainland-based companies. And the mainland-based ones are looking at Hawaii as an early market for them, and so a lot of them have been able to progress pretty rapidly as they go through our program.
So you're having some real success stories then.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So let's talk about a few of those then.
Sure.
So under energy storage, there's a company called STEM.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us about what they do?
Sure. STEM is an energy storage company, and they couple the storage with the analytics. They're looking at deploying their technology in commercial buildings here in Hawaii. They just announced a partnership with Hawaiian Electric to be able to do that. And so they'll allow the building owner to switch between grid energy and their battery energy seamlessly.
Now, is battery energy considered an intermittent energy source?
It helps to balance the intermittent energy sources like solar and wind.
Solar and wind. Now, are we utilizing wind power much?
Yeah, so especially on the island of Maui, there's a lot of wind power there being generated at, it's a good percentage of the load is wind.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, I guess they get a lot of wind up. They put the windmills where, up in the mountains, or
yeah, like up on the ridges. As you fly into Maui, you can see them as you fly in.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I haven't been to Maui for quite some time. So. Now, there's another company called Ambri. Is that right?
Yes.
Now,
Ambri.
do they do something uniquely different than STEM, or are they doing some similar work?
So they actually make the batteries, and their batteries are unique because most of the batteries on the market now are lithium-ion.
Right.
But theirs are liquid metal batteries, so there's actually no hardware within the battery. It's all liquid, and they're able to. They're longer lasting, as well as they don't degrade as
they don't
quickly.
degrade over time, so they hold their value.
They hold their value for a longer period of time.
Oh, okay.
Than lithium-ion, yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay, interesting. Now, is this a relatively new technology, or are they just implementing a technology that's existed for quite some time?
So the research has been going on for a little while at MIT, and I don't know the exact year, but they've been commercializing it for a few years now.
Okay.
So they're working on deployments here in Hawaii, too.
Interesting, interesting. Now, okay, and then there's another company that you referred to earlier when we were talking before the show called Shifted Energy.
Yes.
Now, Shifted Energy does what? What do they focus on?
So they have grid interactive water heaters. So they're also an energy storage company, and they're able to store renewable or intermittent renewable energies into water heaters, and then dispense the energy when residences need their hot water.
And you were saying one of the interesting things about that technology is that the hot water heaters actually talk to each other?
Yeah, they sort of form like their own
cool.
little microgrid. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they're able to communicate with each other, and it tracks the temperature and decides if they need to push energy to turn on a certain hot water heater or funnel energy to that.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So they talk to each other as well as the grid and the utility. Yeah.
See, I think that's a great technology. The fact that these devices can all communicate with each other, I think that's a great step forward, because if we have more devices that can accomplish that same thing, that need power intermittently, for example, air conditioning systems in buildings and such, that if they can talk to each other and they can pull the load off things like solar, renewable energy sources, solar and wind, then it seems to me that then we really start to remove our dependency from this centralized energy distribution model, which is currently, I think, what Hawaiian Electric has in place today, although they're moving away from it slowly.
Yeah, there's been a huge movement in like automated and just like smart devices, and now in energy as well. And so a lot of the companies that we work with actually who have hardware, some of them don't actually have hardware, but the ones that do, they also have a software piece that goes along with their hardware.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are any of these technologies coming out from sort of what you call dual purpose, where the military is working with people to develop or companies to develop new technologies, and then they're finding a civilian use for these?
Yeah, so the military is actually one of our largest funders, the Office of Naval Research.
Really?
Yeah, and they're really excited about what we do in our program because they see that these technologies are better developed outside of the military and then purchased on the commercial market for them to be able to use versus developing everything in-house. Mm-hmm. So they're funding us, and a lot of our companies are actually like working with Pearl Harbor, the Navy, and military housing to implement and test the technologies to hopefully like scale.
So this will help to reduce overall power usage from the bases, because we know the bases do use a lot of power. They use a lot of energy. Now, in terms of energy efficiency, now IBIS networks, you were talking about them earlier. Can you give us a little bit more of an explanation about what they're doing?
Sure. So they have a technology called an IntelliSocket, and so you can plug that into your wall and plug a device into that, and then you're able to turn that device on and off remotely. So it's great for office buildings where you have printers, refrigerators, water coolers, copiers, and that after 6 or 7 o'clock at night, you don't need to ever use those, but they're still sucking energy through the socket. So they're able to cut off that energy suck by just a push of a button or scheduling.
Now, are a lot of these devices designed to have some sort of trickle flow of energy to them? I mean, I guess my concern is if you have to restart something over, like a copier machine, we know it makes a lot of noise and it grunts and it groans and burps and all this stuff before before it actually is workable. Yeah. So does that use? I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that you have to restart the machine.
Yeah, so it's
Does
great.
It take a lot of energy to do that?
What's actually great about their technology, usually people turn off the copier, they press the off button when they leave the office and they come back in the morning, turn it on, but with their technology, you're able to set a certain schedule when you want it to go off and on, so that's all automated and there's no like manual piece in there.
Okay, now, let's say I've got these all over my office building. I have them spread out. How do I manage that?
So they have an online portal and dashboard for you to do that, and sort of similar to the grid interactive water heaters where they all can talk to each other. All these plugs that are installed in your building on one system can all talk to each other as well.
And you're using a website. There's actually so you don't have to download anything. You don't need a special piece of hardware.
No.
You can just go to the website, log into your account, and you can see all your devices and the power usage they have. And then you can set up the time to turn them on and off.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Wow, that's
I know,
amazing.
it's really simple, and it's like great for building managers who aren't technical people.
Yes.
And it's easy to just like determine which device you're looking at, how much energy it's consuming, and then when you want to set the schedule for it.
So what percentage of business managers or office managers or apartment managers have actually started to implement this type of technology here in Honolulu? Do we have any idea?
I'm not sure what percentage, but they have been working with a couple of hotels in Waikiki, the universities. They just were selected as part of the Hawaii Energy Auction to implement and deploy these plugs with the software into UH Manoa, WCC, and UH Hilo.
Okay, very good, very good. So now, can business people get a hold of them? I mean, is this commercially available now, or is it still in sort of an experimental or test stage?
No, it's commercially available, so the best place to get information would probably be ibisnetworks.com.
So ibisnetworks.com, okay, so everybody heard that now, right? So maybe they'll get a few calls and get some more business going.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then you were talking about another energy efficiency company called Bijli, which is, you said it's not English, it's Indian.
Yes.
Okay, so Bijli, tell us about Bijli.
So they're energy efficiency for your home. And so now there are a lot of devices out there that you can plug into the wall, like the IBIS one is for commercial buildings, but for your home, that you can plug into the wall or save energy in other ways. But this company actually helps you save energy without having to have that hardware.
Now, what kind of a device do you have to insert or implant?
So they couple their technology with the smart meters, and then you download an app on your phone.
Are the smart meters really smart, though? Because we had those in California, and as soon as they went in, people started complaining, they were calling, they were very upset about their smart meters because their bill started to go up quite a bit.
Yeah, the smart meter deployment's going on here in Oahu, and we'll see what the results of that are.
Okay, but you're saying this device works with the smart meter to help optimize energy saving in the home.
Yeah.
And is this also commercially available? Where do they find out more about this?
So you can go to bidgely.com as well to find out more, and I think you can download the app on there as well.
Okay, and it's Bidgley. It's spelled BIDGLEY.com. Bidgley. And I'll spell that one more time. BIDGLEY.com. And this is where, now they're, from their website, people can go on and see what their device looks like and how it saves them money.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. That's great. And the idea that people can now already take advantage of these technologies, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then Bright Light Systems. This is more for industrial use. Bright Light Systems develops a product that does what?
Yeah, so they have, a lot of people have heard of LED lights.
Right.
So Bright Light Systems actually takes it a little bit further to light emitting plasma, which is more efficient, and you can use less bulbs for more light.
Okay.
And their application is great for airports and ports and high mass lighting. Yeah.
Well, we'll learn a little bit more about Bright Light Systems. We're going to go to commercial, and we'll be right back. Thank you very much for watching.
Hello, my name is Kenneth Lawson. I'm your host here at Life in the Law. I'm really interested in law as I practiced it for 18 years before coming to Hawaii. I practiced criminal law and civil rights law on the mainland. Now I teach law at the University of Hawaii Law School, William S. Richardson School of Law, and I bring in guests who are very current on legal issues that affect your life here in Hawaii. Come and join me every Wednesday at 1 p.m. as we explore how the law affects you, how the law is changing, and why it's important that you should care about what's going on in your community. See you then.
Hi, we're back, and this is The Economy and You with Chris Lethan. Our guest today is Lauren Tonokawa, and we're talking about Energy Accelerator, which is a startup organization that helps energy-oriented companies get launched and do business here in the state of Hawaii. Lauren, we were talking, when we left, we were talking about Bright Light Systems, and you said they use a different kind of technology, not LEDs, but LEPs?
LEPs, yeah. So
and that's based on?
That stands for light emitting plasma.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they've done a demonstration project actually at the Kaneohe Marine Corps Base on their airfield, and when you look at it, you can actually see the difference in color and in brightness of the two masts.
Now, one of the interesting things about this technology is the ability to direct light better than you can with a regular light bulb. Is that about right?
Yeah, so the spectrum isn't as wide as a regular light bulb. It's definitely more focused down in there.
Now, does that have an impact? Or, I mean, because, more light potentially has a problem of creating an issue for our telescopes up in the mountains on the Big Island, right?
Yeah.
But if you have technology like this where it's more directional, I suppose that means it would have less of an impact. Ambient light would have less of an impact, or wouldn't necessarily interfere with those telescope systems, right?
Yeah, since it does have less ambient light, it could possibly be less of an interference with the telescopes. Not exactly sure, but
I guess that's a big deal for them. We even had to change out our light bulbs many years ago, change out the kind of bulbs we were using because of the problems of ambient light. But if this light is more focused, that probably doesn't necessarily have an impact on that.
Yeah.
Now, one of the big things that all the companies need, unfortunately, is financing. Because most companies fail today. The number one reason is that they didn't come into the business with enough money to actually get the business off the ground. So you work with an organization called KWH Analytics. And what is their focus? What do they do?
So they have a very, very large database of solar projects, and they've been collecting data on them for quite some time now, and they actually help organizations invest in solar farms a lot more efficiently and effectively. So by providing the data. So they're working with the state DBET and the state energy office with their GEMS program.
So is this, from an analytical perspective, they're looking at cost efficiencies, or is this sort of a benefits analysis?
Yeah,
cost
so
benefits analysis?
Both cost and performance of the solar project. So what are you investing in? What are you actually getting out of the project?
Okay. And then the viability, marketability of the products as well, or the business models?
So it's mostly for solar projects. So they've been working with like large solar companies in implementing these, as well as banks and other organizations who finance it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have some pictures.
Cool.
Perhaps we could bring up a couple of pictures to see what this is about. This is Ambry. This is.
Yeah. So this is the liquid metal battery.
This is the liquid metal
battery.
battery.
This is a small prototype of it, not actual size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the actual size is much larger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
this is the IBIS Networks plug,
okay.
and their version 2.0 of it.
Version 2.0, and then those are being manufactured, and then they have those here, and then when they set it up for this one, now this is for commercial use or for home use?
Commercial use, yeah.
Commercial use,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And what is this photo of?
And so when we select our cohorts and run the program, we bring them out for weeks at a time. And so this is our most recent kickoff week for our demonstration companies that happened the middle of November. Yeah.
Okay, and then they're sitting around with experts in different areas, and
yeah, so they get to meet one-on-one with the partners here that can potentially help them with their demonstration project.
It looks like they're working really hard,
yeah,
according
yeah.
to this photo. They're just working their fingers to the bone.
Yeah, they actually work really hard during the week, but also like play really hard. We have a good mix of fun and
well, that's
work
awesome.
in there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, work hard, play hard.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do both.
Exactly.
Okay, so there's some really great things that you're doing. Is there anything that we need to do here in Hawaii to bring down the cost of energy that we could be doing more of than what we're doing now? Maybe from a policy perspective?
Yeah, so from the policy side, it's interesting. We probably have one of the most progressive or innovation-friendly policies in the nation, just because of how far along we are in incorporating clean energy into our system relative to other states in the nation. So, I mean, continuing to create that innovation-friendly policy is definitely a huge step, I think.
Okay, so how has it been working with HECO, with Hawaiian Electric? How have they been an ally in all of this?
Yeah, so they're actually one of our partners, and Hawaiian Electric Industries, as well as Hawaiian Electric and American Savings Bank, and we've been working with them pretty closely, and a lot of our companies are partnering with them on projects, and we've been working on the innovation side with them as well.
So they are open to innovation, which is great, because
Yeah.
you know, in the past they've had some challenges with being open to innovation, but it sounds like they're really coming on board with that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely on board
Okay.
with the innovation piece.
Now, if we could just get Hawaiian Electric to be able to take payments directly and not go through third parties, I think we'd be on board with this.
Another innovation, yeah.
Another innovation, yeah. Okay, so when it comes to intermittent energy renewables, what kind of things are we doing? What kind of things are we looking to do?
Yeah, so we have a really large percentage of solar and wind online, and that's great, and that's great, and that comes from the tax incentives that we had to actually put the solar on our rooftops.
So is wind energy actually cost effective? Is it really? I mean, I guess one of the big concerns I have with wind power is it seems to be a fairly costly solution.
Yeah, I think that's something that they're still figuring out, and the results. So putting the wind and the solar online is a piece of it, but then what do you do with that? So that's like a great step and a great milestone, and now that also presents a whole other set of challenges where these these sources of energy are very intermittent. They aren't like oil where you can turn it on and off and
That's
have
right.
it whenever you want.
That's
It's
right.
not as luxurious. And so there's a bunch of other technologies and other things in between you getting where the energy comes from and you using it that need to be implemented in order.
So
to be-
are there other forms of it? I mean, we talked about geothermal on the Big Island, and I'm not sure what's holding up geothermal or if it's actually moving along. I know there used to be a geothermal plant that had some pollution challenges in the past. Do you know anything about that? Have you done any reading on that, or has that become part of the conversation when you're talking about renewable energy sources?
Yeah, so geothermal is interesting. We don't really work as much on that side of the energy piece. On our website, there's actually a geothermal report that people can read. So
Okay.
on energyaccelerator.com, if they'd like more information on geothermal, there's a
Now,
whole report on it.
I got to stop you just
Yeah,
for a second
sure.
because I was challenged this morning with the spelling Energy Accelerator. Their organization actually spells Accelerator with an X and not two C's. And when I was typing this morning, my Word document was going crazy with me this morning, and I thought, wow, I can't spell it right. So how do you spell Energy Accelerator so people can find it online?
Energy, EXCELERATOR.
So like Excel,
Yes,
like
Excel.
EXSEL, like an Excel
Yep,
document.
Excel
Yeah,
word.
Accelerator. Okay, very good. So I want people to be able to find you if they want to find
Yeah.
out more information about what you're doing. You were at the Startup Weekend this last weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm a big fan of startups. I think it's a great place for young people to come and vet new ideas and new business models. And you were there supporting our Startup Weekend. So what kind of things were you all doing while you were there?
Yeah, so it was really exciting to see all the activity that went on at Startup Weekend. There's really good attendance, like over 200 people from my
That's
estimation.
amazing.
Yeah. And then a lot of them had really great ideas, and they're all enthusiastic about participating and leading teams. So we were there as a sponsor, and we gave a couple minutes about our program in the beginning, urging people to do things either in energy, transportation, water, agriculture, and then hopefully eventually feed into our program once they come a little further along, beyond
Now,
idea stage.
Do you get a lot of people applying to your organization?
Yeah, so each year we get between 200 to 300 applications, and we select between 15 to 17 startups each year.
Okay, so you got about a 5%, 6% chance of,
Yeah.
of getting it. That's not bad, actually, if you consider the benefits that come. It's worth putting in the application if you've got an idea. And I would imagine that, even if you didn't accept somebody, maybe what you do is you send them, you say, hey, these are some of the things that you need to work on, and come back to us again.
Yeah, we definitely give feedback to the companies that request it, and we do info sessions before we open for applications, so we actually get to meet a lot of our applicants face to face, which is awesome, and get to know them and their team.
There are some really, really amazing people
Yeah.
in the technology space here in Hawaii that are doing amazing things, and you also work with other startups. So tell us a little bit about what you do with some of the other startups, who they are, and what your involvement is with them.
Sure. So there's a bunch of other startup programs here in Hawaii, which is really exciting to see the ecosystem growing in that way. And so we've worked with Blue Startups, which is a tech accelerator, and we partner with them on the Startup Paradise Demo Day, which happens yearly. And this coming year, 2015, it'll probably happen around May. And that's
in May.
Yeah.
And what will you be doing with them?
So we each, both us and Blue Startup, selects cohorts of companies, and so our cohort will present, and as well as Blue Startup's cohort, they'll present. And this year we're gonna mix it up a little bit, so everybody has to stay tuned.
So okay, all right. So is it a little competitive thing going on between the different startups, or what do you anticipate?
So in the past it hasn't been, but this year we may decide to do something a little different and incorporate a little bit of competition.
All right.
into it.
Okay, well, the word is out. We're going to have a competition. Well, this is Chris Lethan. This is The Economy and You, and we're going to go to commercial. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Donna Blanchard. I'm the host of Center Stage here on the ThinkTech digital series. The show is every Wednesday from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and I want you to watch this show because I think that when we talk with artists on the show about what they do, how they do it, and most importantly, why they do it, I believe that it resonates within each of us, and we find something inside of ourselves that brings us closer to all of humanity. That's what arts are there to do, and that's what I'm here to do on this show. That's Center Stage. It's on every Wednesday from 2 to 3 o'clock. I hope to see you there.
Hi, this is Chris Lethan. This is The Economy and You. We're talking with Lauren Tonokawa. And we're going to go to video so you can see a little bit more about what we've been talking about. We're going to take it to video whenever you're ready. Here we go. Okay. So this is the video put together by your organization?
Yeah, so when we launched the program, we put together this little video that describes who we are and what we do. And it's really, we call our approach to accepting companies and working with companies and our mission place-based innovation.
What kind of innovation?
Place-based.
Place-based.
Yeah, and so that's like looking at the challenges that we actually face, and then how can we solve that through innovation, and then how can we scale it to the rest of the world.
Well, it really looks like in your video here, you're trying to address a very large set of problems that exist worldwide. Mm-hmm. So you're working, can you tell us some of these people here? Who
yeah,
are we
so
looking at?
That's Dawn. She's the director of our organization. And so what we did with the video is that we sort of described how she came to be where she is and why she's so passionate about energy.
Okay.
And Hawaii is a large piece of that. And usually we're known for tourist stuff like surfing and the great weather, but energy is also a big piece of that too.
Well, you know, sustainability in Hawaii is one of our biggest challenges, and energy, of course, is an important component of that, because at some point, if anything were to happen and we couldn't get access to energy immediately, you know, from outside sources, mm-hmm. we'd be reliant on the energy that, you know, on what we have available just to us.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of our energy is imported, which contributes to the high cost of it. And
well, now there's been some talk about going from oil to liquid natural gas. Mm-hmm. I've had some conversations with people about methane, mm-hmm. As well as another fuel source. But I don't know where we're at in that process and making that conversion. Do you have any knowledge on where we are with that?
That's a good question. I probably wouldn't have the answer for you. That may be a question for one of the other people in our ecosystem.
Okay.
Gas, probably.
Okay. Well, it looks like there's some really passionate people, and I'm looking at this video of people talking about energy and
yeah,
you know,
the nexus with entrepreneurship is really interesting as
yes.
well, and like how the entrepreneurs that we work with have actually come to be so passionate about what they do.
Well, you know, that's one of the great things about this country, isn't it? I mean, we really are focused on letting people benefit and from their entrepreneurship, from trying to create new systems, mm-hmm. developing new ideas, new technologies. And we will, I think that's one of the things that we're now looking at in Hawaii. One of my big passions is growing our ecosystem of technology-based companies, mm-hmm. because if there's an area where we can expand and grow as a state, this is certainly one of the places that we need to put our attention and our focus to.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We're working with a cohort of interns as well. So each 10 of our companies have one intern. Either they're recent graduates or they're undergraduates now who live in Hawaii, and they work with the companies who are based here and some based on the mainland. And we've also found that a lot of our mainland-based companies have actually moved a team member to Hawaii.
Really?
And that they now live here, yeah, and they run the operations for this market.
See, that's what we need. We need to have more and more of that type of relationship building and cross-pollination between mm-hmm. what we're doing here and what other companies are doing on the mainland. You know, one of the issues for us, of course, is we need to bring more fiber optic into Hawaii. If we bring more fiber optic, we can also then cross-pollinate with other large tech companies. We'd love to have people from Intel or Google or Oracle, more Oracle people here. Those companies also bring well-paying jobs to Hawaii. And the ability to interact with these organizations also, I think really adds a whole other layer of opportunity for us, especially when it comes to energy innovation.
Yeah.
So what kind of other things, what's the vision that you see going forward from now?
Yeah, I think one of the things we're working on is actually growing the next generation of entrepreneurs and growing them here in Hawaii, as well as accepting companies from the mainland, but also focusing like really intently on the next generation that comes from Hawaii. And so we're doing the internship program, and we'll probably be launching a couple other initiatives in the first half of next year.
I got to say, that was a great clip, by the way. That was oh yeah, that was so awesome.
Yeah, it was a fun video to make too.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, well, looks like you guys did a great job, and you're really, you know, motivated with what you're doing. So, and when you talk about the vision going forward and working with local entrepreneurs, what do you think we need to do to keep that ball moving forward?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of efforts going on, and that could use some coordination. So we'll be partnering with a few organizations out there. So now we're partnering with Kupu and the Rewarding Internships for Sustainable Employment program that they run.
Okay.
And so that's how we've selected and like fielded interns and placed them at our companies. And we'll probably do a few other partnerships in the coming year.
Okay. Do you work with the University of Hawaii at all in some of the things that they're working on?
Yeah, so we've worked with them. We work with HNEI, their research lab, pretty closely, and they're doing a lot of energy stuff there, as well as the College of Engineering and the entrepreneurship programs at the business school. So I was just a coach for one of the Breakthroughs in Innovation Challenge teams.
Oh, really? Tell us about that. What is that? That sounds very interesting.
So they run the Breakthroughs in Innovation Challenge that's run out of PACE, and they selected 3 finalists, and the team that I was coaching were 3 engineering students from the College of Engineering, and they submit a video of what their idea is, and then the 3 finalists get to do a live pitch to a panel of judges who decide whether it's a go or a no-go for the company. Yeah.
And how did they fare?
They got 2 thumbs up out of 3, so they got that first prize, but the Judges' Choice Award went to another team.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, it sounds like you're doing a lot of really exciting things as an accelerator. And then at what stage does a company make application to an organization like yours? I mean, you know, we had talked about the other day where somebody had, like, maybe I had developed a new kind of technology. I'd taken an old Clorox bottle and cut slits on it, and I figured out how to hook it up to a generator. And okay, am I ready to come to you now with my idea, or what do I need to do? What sort of mechanisms do I need to have in place?
Yeah, so along the readiness spectrum, we take companies that already have developed a prototype all the way until right before commercialization. So if you have an idea, there's some like great programs out there like HTDC and ProtoHub and Box Jelly that can support you there and help you develop your idea into a prototype. And then once you get your prototype, I think at least two team members, then you're eligible to apply.
So it sounds like, to me, what you do is you sort of start off with HTDC, or the Manoa Innovation Center, with an idea.
Yeah.
And then if they like your idea, then they help you sort of develop it and nurture it, and it's like a little ember, and you start to blow on it a little bit and get a little fire going. And once you've got that going, and they're happy and get you to a certain stage, they then pass them on to somebody like you.
Yeah, so in the idea stage, there are a bunch of like support. So HTDC does a lot of workshops around helping improve like expertise areas within your business. And then there's the funding pieces like the SBIR, the Small Business funds, and ARPA-E, which is out of the U.S. Department of Energy, that provide funding for new innovations.
Okay.
And then in the prototype to the demonstration phase, that's where we play in.
What about patent? Patent issues probably come into play here, or trademarks and patents and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you all provide insights into that, or is that more at the HTDC level?
So HTDC can
and by the way, HTDC is a Hawaii Technology Development Corporation?
Yeah. Yeah, so they can provide patent help, and we can actually provide the funding in order for you to go hire the lawyers or whatever other support services you need in order to protect your IP.
Okay. Now I noticed on the HTDC website, which I think is that htdc.org or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
like
htdc.org. You can go on there and see workshops, a calendar of workshops that they're doing. So if you want to get more involved in understanding more about HTDC and Manoa Innovation Center, you can go onto the website and take a look there.
Yeah, so they provide a lot of workshops, not just about what they do, but like entrepreneurship in general. So they do, like, on Wednesdays they have like a weekly thing about law and legal, and so they have a lot of.
I'm sure a lot of people show up for that, so excited to listen to things about laws and legals.
Spend your lunch break there.
You know, it can get, you know, whenever somebody starts talking about the legal issues, you know, people's eyes start to glaze over because it can get you can get into the weeds pretty quickly. Funding issues, I think also, a lot of people feel a little bit scared when it comes to funding, because I would think one of the concerns would be, you know, fear of giving away too much of your company. How does that work? Do these organizations like you take a percentage, or are they lending money? Is it a mix of both? How does that work?
Yeah, so we actually provide grants to our companies, and so companies donate like a small percentage, like between 1% to 2%, for $75,000 to up to $1 million. So the percentage of equity that we get from the companies in relation to the amount of funding that we're giving is really small.
It's really small.
Yeah.
Because you're operating as a nonprofit organization, and you're really here and funded by this. You're funded by the state of Hawaii, is that right? And then from other sources, or?
We're actually funded. So we received some funding from the state energy office, but the large bulk of our funding comes from federal sources. So the Office of Naval Research and the U.S. Department of Energy.
Again?
Yeah.
One more time? Oh, we can. Okay, well, this was a great show. I just got word from Zuri that we're about out of time. Thank you so much for being here today. It was really, I think it was an interesting show. It was enlightening. We need to be doing more to develop our high-tech community and our high-tech ecosystem. This is a place where Hawaii has a chance to really expand our economy and provide jobs that our kids can come home to when they've gone off to go to college on the mainland. And now they're deciding whether they're going to come back home to Hawaii or they're going to stay on the mainland. This was a really great show. Thank you for being here, Lauren. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to Zuri, our technical person. This is Chris Lethan, and this is The Economy and You. And I would like to say aloha and thank you for watching.
Bye.
Mahalo.